Welcome to Life Happens, where Texans come to protect their legacy and prepare for the second half of life. Join your host, attorney Kim Hegwood of Your Legacy Legal Care, and our weekly guest as we navigate the challenges that emerge as life happens. Now here's your host, Kim Hegwood.
Good morning and welcome to Life Happens with me, Kim Hegwood, and our very special guest is Lori Yauch. Good morning.
Good morning, Kim. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to a lively conversation.
Yes, we do have some fun on this show. And so today we're going to talk about a bridge to dementia care. And we're really going to be talking about definitely reminiscing, but
Yeah.
really some things that I think are really beneficial to our listeners. So how does reminisce contribute to emotional well-being, and what strategies does meaningful memory maker offer to enhance this experience?
Well, the nice thing about reminiscence is that reminiscence exists in a place called long-term memory. And long-term memory is really, really never wrong. A lot of people say, I can remember things that happened to me when I was 8 years old, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Well, that's because those kind of memories sit in long-term memory, and long-term memory lasts the longest as the dementia journey continues and progresses. So the reason why you want to reminisce is that is part of building that bridge to communication and connection. If you spend a lot of time in reminiscing about things that your loved one or your care receiver remembers from their past, there is no cognitive load. There is no fear of, did I get it wrong? Because long-term memory is never wrong. So when you're on that journey and on trying to build that bridge to dementia care and build that bridge to reminiscence, using the things that they know about and the things that they're familiar with. And they know themselves more as a young person than they do as an older person. So sitting with them and talking about the past, talking about that fishing trip that we went on, or that trip to Walt Disney World, or that honeymoon trip to Paris, is a real way to open up communication and to find that connection. And Meaningful Memory Maker, what we do is we publish books and videos that capitalize on your past. Give me 50 to 100 pictures of your favorite pictures from the 50 years or 60 years of marriage or family life. If you give me those pictures, the ones that are the specialists to you, I'll put them in a book for you that you can sit down and hold and reminisce with your loved one about those special memories. We have books, we have videos, and the videos are really nice because they're portable and they focus on specific holidays, anniversaries, birthdays, and I put a special piece of music that is meaningful to you, and you get to see all the pictures of your life centered around one holiday. And it's really, really a good way to connect.
That's awesome. We talk to clients a lot about, doing videos and things like that. So this sounds like a project, and that families could do, to help enhance that, that person, that has dementia. So what ways does revisiting past memories strengthen relationships and family bonds?
Well, the thing about the dementia journey is that so much is being lost on the journey. So much of their thought processes are being lost, their communication processes are being lost, and there can be so much frustration on a caregiver's part, because I don't see the same person that I knew. So the person that you know now is not the same person that you knew, and that can be a struggle for some caregivers. So the way that you can connect is through past memories. So sitting down with the photo album, sitting down with with a DVD of a favorite movie, or listening to a favorite song is a way that you can connect through that past memory and talk about remember when. And if you as a caregiver can set up, oh, this is it, you open up that photo album, or you open up that personal history book that we make for you, and you say, oh, this is us when we went on the cruise to Bermuda. This is us when we went on that fishing trip. And look how young we were. And look at that pretty dress that Barbara was wearing, or something like that. It's a way that you can connect that is so much different than the way that you have to deal with your loved one in every other situation. Because again, there is no cognitive load, there are no wrong answers, and it's a way to bridge that gap.
So what role does storytelling play in the reminiscence process? And how does meaningful memory maker facilitate creative memory sharing?
Well, wow, that's a loaded question. So let's take it a little bit at a time. What role does storytelling play? Well, storytelling really is reminiscence. Every time you sit down with somebody and say, remember when, there's usually a story attached to that. When you look at pictures or you tell a story, most people who tell a story, when they start that out, they have a vision in their head, and that's a picture. That's why pictures are so essential in reminiscing. So when you open up that photo album, or you talk about that song and you start telling a story about, remember when we did this, remember when we went there, that is reminiscence. And meaningful memory maker, when you open up our books, or you turn on that lasting memories video greeting, or you grab movies and music, a guide to turning the classic movie musical into an interactive event, and you pick out a favorite movie that goes along with the guidebook, or any favorite movie, you're actually bridging that gap and allowing some memories to be facilitated so much easier. And again, when you reminisce, there's so much more communication that's going on, because reminiscence is airless, and there is no fear of, if I say this, am I going to say it wrong? Or a lot of times when folks in the dementia journey are losing their communication skills and they have trouble talking about now, when they go into reminiscence, you can get all kinds of conversation, and those pictures and those videos and those stories come out and are facilitated by our products.
So my sisters and I like to talk about some of our, fondest memories, but, usually they're not the ones my mother wants to remember. So.
Well, that's a very good point. When you reminisce with someone who is on their journey, remember that the best reminiscences are the happy memories. Okay. Try to stay away from the ones that they don't want to remember. So the ones that are happy for you, not so happy for mom. And the object is to bring mom into the conversation and to bring mom into the activity. So find what motivates mom and talk about what motivates mom. And you and your sisters and you and your family can talk about the other things that excite you at another time.
And so, yeah, we just, we like to laugh about the whole dart incident, but I'm not so sure my mom thought it was as funny as we did later, and so.
Exactly.
So, but I can
remember,
appreciate that, something that she might find more fondly, most definitely. So, how
right.
does a meaningful memory maker help users capture and preserve these moments, for future generations?
Well, it's really easy if you find that you want to make a different kind of style memory book. If you're like me and you have 100 years of photo albums in the closets everywhere. At my home before I moved from Tampa, I had 3 closets, and each shelf had at least 35 photo albums. So you have all of these photos, and you sit down with your family one day and you say, do you remember when we went again to Disney World, or we went on that trip to Amsterdam? And I wonder which album are those pictures in? So what you can do with me is I can help you tell your story in a new way. So send me 50 to 100 pictures, your most favorite pictures that spans the life and growth of your family. Send those to me digitally. I'll work with them. I have an engagement meeting with you and your family and say, how would you like to tell your story? What are some really important things that you want to include? And then we put those 100 pictures and we start the story from wherever you like. And it's a new way to preserve those memories and to have maybe not 100 years of memories, but specific to your family, a lot of years, from wherever you want to start to wherever you want to end. And whenever you want to sit down and talk about a family event or talk about family history, just grab that one and it's all there for you.
Yeah, I when my grandparents passed away, she had tons and tons of photographs.
Yeah.
And so some of the people I didn't even know. So we've now scanned them all into the
Right.
computer, and just got to sit down with mom and type in names and things like that so that she can tell us, because some of these pictures we were too little to know,
Exactly.
some of these were
Exactly.
before I was born, so
Yeah.
don't know who they are. So so it's always fun to to go through and do that. So
Yeah.
I can appreciate other people wanting to do it. So can you
Yeah.
tell us about someone, about a family member that used this in their caregiving?
Well, just about the time of the pandemic, I was working at an assisted living Alzheimer's care, and I was actually hired to write books for the folks at this assisted living. And just as I finished one or two of them, the pandemic hit, and I basically lost all contact. But a couple of years later, the daughter of one of the ladies that I had made a book for said, "Oh, my mama, oh, she loved it. She was so grateful. She was so grateful that she had it." She said she carried it around with her everywhere in the assisted living facility and stopped everyone and said, "Look at my book, look at my book." And she looked at it every day, and she showed these pictures and told these stories to anyone and everyone who would listen. And then the nicest thing about it was, because it was during the pandemic, she was separated from her family, and that was a cause of a lot of distress for her throughout the pandemic. And whenever she got distressed, the caregivers would say, "Look at your book." And she'd open up that book and she would read it, and she would feel so much closer to her family, and it would calm her right down. As a matter of fact, when I spoke to her daughter, she said it was so dog-eared because she looked at it all the time, and she loved it so much, and she looked at it all the time. It was really, really dog-eared by the time she passed. So it was a way for her to connect to her family. And in this instance, the books that I write for folks who are on their dementia journey and in assisted living or long-term care are called the About books. And in the front of the About books, it has information about the individual's likes and dislikes and capabilities. And so when a person who's on their journey starts losing some communication skills and can't tell you what they like and what they don't like, or what they want, the front of the book tells you exactly what I like and what I know. The back of the book tells the story of their life, and that's what they love the most, because they like to look at pictures of themselves as young people, because that's what they remember. But the nicest thing about the whole book together is for the caregiver who doesn't know them begins to see them not as the lady in 301A, but as Alice, and gets a picture of their whole life and gets to be able to see them as the person that they were, are, and the life that they lived well.
Perfect. So how can individuals use meaningful memory maker to transform everyday experiences into lasting meaningful memories?
Well, I think that when you want to preserve something, you take a picture of it, right? or you record, or you take a quick video on your phone, and all that stuff gets stored in your phone. And how many thousands of pictures do you have? And you're looking back at it, and you're saying, oh, was that this year or was it last year? Was it yesterday or was it last month? So what we do is we take those pictures off of your phone and we put them into, again, a medium that you can hold and cherish and pass down to generations. Because Lord knows what's going to happen to your phone after you're gone. And how many phones are you going to have between now and then? And if those photos get stuck in your phone, who's going to be able to enjoy them? And the nice thing about being able to share them in this new medium, whether it's a book or a video, is that it is transportable and you can share it with all of your family at any time. And the nice thing about, for those who are on a dementia journey, is that they have something to hold. They have something to hold. And one of the things that happens as the dementia journey continues is that an individual who's experiencing dementia changes in their memory is they have very short attention spans. So if you put something in their hands, they're going to be focused more. I like to say busy hands are happy hands. So holding something in your hand and being able to share it across the generations is so much nicer than say, look here on my phone, because I have to pass my phone around to 6 people. And you may have to pass a book around to 6 people as well, but it's something that they can go through and they can actually remember and live through those memories.
So Lori, if somebody wants to preserve their memories for their loved one, how do they find you?
You can find me at meaningfulmemorymaker.com or my email address, lkym1@verizon.net.
Perfect. And so, Lori, this has been fantastic. And so I so
I
appreciate
loved
you
it.
being on the show, and we look forward to having you on again soon.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you very much, Kim. It was nice to see you.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Life Happens with Kim Hegwood. Be sure to tune in every Thursday at 10 a.m. wherever you listen to your podcast as we navigate through the challenges that emerge as life happens. The content of this podcast does not establish an attorney-client relationship or constitute attorney-client privilege, legal, medical, financial, or any other professional advice.